Cassie Scerbo is joining us on the show this morning. Yeah, the new movie, the newest one, the latest one is The Last Sharknado, It's About Time, and it premieres this Sunday at 8 p.m. on Sci-Fi Network. That clip that we just heard is from Sharknado 3, which is, what is it, Katie? So,
Oh, hell no.
Oh, hell no. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, hell no. And these movies they're awesome. They're everything. They're just everything that's fun and silly and stupid about our industry and our business and why we all got into it in the first place, is just to have fun and make silly things and entertain and whatever. And that clip is a perfect example. I mean, your character shoots a shark with mascara, basically.
Yeah.
Well, the bullet is.
Yeah, the bullet. 75 caliber mascara.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Of course. I kind of wish we she continued to do that, but that's the only time she ever shoots anyone with a mascara wand or stick. So it's a one-time thing, but it was fun.
Yeah, why not? You play Nova Clark, and you were in the first one.
Yes.
Right? And then the third one, obviously. We just heard the clip. The fifth one, and now the sixth one.
Yes.
So 4 out of the 6.
Yes.
Do you remember your experience on the first one?
Yeah, it was... I had been playing a teenage gymnast on ABC Family. My fellow ABC family, you're here.
Make it or break it. You don't have to tell me. I'm president of the fan club.
Yes. And, I... for years was running around in a little leotard and playing Lauren Tanner, and on hiatus I got this phone call for this offer, and they told me you have 24 hours. I read one page and I was like, hell yeah, this is ridiculous. And there's no way I can't say no. I get to take off the leotard for a minute and go around
put on a flight
killing
suit.
sharks. And, put on flight suits and whatever else Nova wears. So it was really fun. It was obviously super low budget. I thought nobody would ever see it.
Right.
It just spoke to my inner tomboy. I was like, this seems badass. And here we are, 6 years later, which is also, as you were saying, it's just, you never know in this industry. You never know what's going to take off and why. And I think that's the beauty of it. And that's what makes it so fun. It's obviously no one planned that. And once again, here we are so many years later. It's still so bizarre to me. I'm like, I don't know. I can't even believe we're on number 6. But it's definitely a blessing.
We were chatting with Tara. Tara.
I've mastered it because I've known her for so long.
It was weird.
Ian and Tara.
I was trying to figure it out, cause she said her own name once, and it sounded like she kind of went with Tara, and then I was calling her Tara, and then I didn't know if that was right, and whatever. Anyway, Tara, don't call me Tara, or Tara, don't call me Tara. We were chatting with her last week, and she was saying that, and we were both saying that originally it was called Dark Skies, and then they changed the name to Sharknado. And I was saying to her that that's got to be a lot of the reason for its success. Not only is it a fun movie, but the title is so perfect.
Yes,
I think it's the most perfect movie title there's ever been.
I love that.
Honestly,
you know exactly what you're in for.
You know exactly what you're in for. It was called Dark Skies, and when our director, I remember when he came out to tell us that the movie title had changed, we were on set, we were still shooting. And he was really excited about it, and we're all sitting there at lunch. I think it was a lunch break, and he's like, "So guys, we actually have a new title. It's gonna be called Sharknado." All of us we just went white in the face. We're like, excuse me, what? What are we gonna be? What's gonna be on our IMDb? This is gonna be one of our credits, Sharknado. No, there's no way you can't do that to us. None of us were happy about it until the day it was meant to premiere, or that it did premiere. Earlier in that day, we started trending on Twitter, and people were going crazy for it. And I do think it was just because the name is so bizarre. It stuck with everybody. Yeah. People wanted to know, what the heck is Sharknado?
It's perfect, and there's tried to be there's so many. There's been other movies that have tried to follow in its footsteps and sort of piggyback onto the success of it and use similar titles like Gator Shark, or there's been these
Ghost
other
Shark.
there's been these other titles, but they can't do it. Sharknado's the original, and it always will be, and accept no substitute is what I'm saying. Speaking of what's going on in the film and whatever, what is happening in this final one?
I love the name of this movie, Sharknado. It's about time, but it is actually. It's time travel. We start in the last movie, the last scene in the last film. In 5, it's all a blur at this point. I'm like, it's just so many sharks and tornadoes. But
sure.
In the last scene, I believe it was that Gil. We were searching for Ian and Tara in the movie. We were searching for their son, who was like stuck in the vortex of a Sharknado. So we were going around the globe trying to find the Sharknado that he was in. Wow, this sounds crazy. Like when you talk about this movie, you just feel like you sound like you're like on acid or something.
I love it.
I really wonder like what those writers take when they are writing this. But no, I'm kidding. Anyway, so we're looking for him, and we find out that he's able to, at the very end of the movie, after it's been the apocalypse, and the only person standing is Finn, Ian's character. You find out that, of course, that his son figured out how to harness time travel.
Sure.
So in one of the last sentences of the last movie is something like, let's go back and save the world. Let's save Nova and Mom. And
because now we could put it all back.
Mm-hmm.
Because the apocalypse happened,
yes.
but now we could. I see.
So they have to go back in time, and the only way to stop Sharknadoes forever is to stop the very first one that ever happened.
Which hopefully was around the time of like cavemen or something.
No, actually. See, this is where it's so twisted. They mean the first one in the first movie. So we have to like figure out how to get to like the first movie's Sharknado, and we start all the way back in prehistoric era. This is making no sense. Doesn't make sense when we shoot it.
But you go to the Wild West too, right?
We go from prehistoric era to like King Arthur to the Wild West, 1950s. I mean, it's Cleopatra.
How fun though. On set, you're like, where in the time of the world am I?
As we're in Romania in like the middle of winter, freezing, not even knowing like what's going on
because
we're
Romania.
So cold.
Yeah.
It's like we couldn't even half the time we couldn't even work our mouths to say lines
because
we're so freezing. On top of that, there's so many cameos in these movies.
Yeah.
So they're changing everything around like by the day. We didn't even like honestly ever look at our sides because they changed by the time we got to set.
Is there anyone? I was gonna say just quickly though, like you said, like it makes no sense. I gotta tell you, it makes perfect sense. It does. As I'm sitting here listening,
perfect.
But that's why these movies are so much fun. Is because honestly, like I think the movie industry, TV in general, everything. I mean, we've all been in it for years, and like there is a sense to me that it takes itself a bit too seriously most of the time. And that's the reason that everyone loves these movies is because they don't take themselves that seriously, and they're just fun, and you just sit back and be told a story,
totally.
And that's what's fun about it.
Absolutely. And I always say it feels like every time one of these things airs, it genuinely feels like we're having like just one big party with the universe. Everyone's tweeting and laughing, and like there's this thing where people make Sharknado cakes. Is that a shark?
Oh, it's a shark on her
daily
coffee.
mug is a shark. Yes.
Love that. Sorry. Yeah. I was like, wait a second, I see a shark. And people just have so much fun with it. There's like a slew of people that now have Sharknado themed weddings. I mean, it's a thing.
Well, that's the thing.
Like Super Bowl sci-fi.
The world in general is so serious right now. No one can make a joke anymore. Everything's picked apart and parsed out with every single word and every syllable that anyone says. And so when you can just sit down and laugh and have some fun, like that's what the world needs. So honestly, Sharknado is what the world needs. You heard it here first. Talk to me about the cameos a little bit, because there are so many cameos by so many people, and I've heard that there's like really big, huge, mega superstar, famous people who like beg to be in these movies.
Everyone wants to get killed by a shark in Sharknado. It's a thing.
Right.
I want to know how my epic death scene is going to go in Sharknado.
What was there a day that you showed up to set and you were just, you might have read the call sheet or something, you were like, oh wow, this person's coming in tomorrow? Or were you ever like starstruck by any of the cameos?
Yeah, there's so many. My favorite cameo in this movie though is my niece. My 5-year-old niece. She was flown out on her birthday all the way to Romania, and she plays the young version of me. So that was epic.
Oh, that's awesome.
You guys can watch for it. It's actually like a really cute emotional scene. They always find a way to give me some type of like emotional scene, which like on the day as like an actor, I'm like preparing and I'm ready. Then when I watch it back in like the whole craziness of Sharknado, it always looks so ridiculous. But it is a very sweet scene. It is with my niece.
Oh, that's great.
But however, I mean, I don't even know if we're allowed to say who's in this Sharknado.
Well, maybe from the past ones then.
Whoever was at Comic-Con, you could probably talk about.
That's true. Alaska,
Jonathan Bennett.
I've worked with Jonathan Bennett now twice, and I love him so much.
Jonathan Bennett.
Both of us have worked with JB as well.
Samuels.
Yes.
Yes. I loved working with Frankie Muniz because I loved Agent Cody Banks.
Yes. Who didn't?
I'm not even kidding. I say this in every interview. Like, I had so much fun working with him. I thought he was so great. This movie, we have Judah Friedlander back. He's great. Deborah Wilson's awesome. Obviously, Vivica Fox. That was for me. For me, that was like, I know that she's been in the franchise already, but this was the first film I got to work with her, so I was a bit starstruck at first. She's so talented and so awesome, and I got to grow really close to her. She's just such a wonderful woman, and
that's cool.
So badass. She has that Every Day I'm Hustling book out now, and she's just like killing it. But there's been so many. I know that obviously we have Alaska in this one, and we have. I'm like sitting here about to say the same person like 3 times, but I'm scared I'm gonna get in trouble. So someone who plays Cleopatra is a pretty big deal. I'm really
that's
excited.
good. Yeah, tease it. That's fine. You don't have to,
so tune in for that.
We don't want to get you in any trouble or anything.
But I mean,
because we all know there's going to be a 7th one eventually. I want to make sure you're in there.
Oh, or a series.
You never know.
Yeah, or a TV series. Yeah, why not? Once again, everyone, The Last Sharknado, it's about time. It's on this Sunday, 8 p.m., Sci-Fi Network, and don't be one of the people who don't tune into that, because everyone is going to be tweeting about it and talking about it.
Yes.